They watch you watching them. The quiet ones. The ones who skip the party, cancel plans, choose books over bars. And while you're out there performing your life, they're doing something you can't see. Something Carl Jung discovered that changes everything about power, influence, and who really runs the world. You've been told they're antisocial, broken, missing out. But Jung saw the truth. These quiet observers aren't lacking anything. They're operating on a completely different frequency. And that frequency, it's where real power lives. Today I'm revealing 7 hidden truths about quiet people that Jung uncovered. Truths so uncomfortable that society had to invent the myth of the antisocial weirdo just to avoid facing them. Because once you understand what's really happening in the minds of those who choose silence over noise, you'll never see social dynamics the same way again. Truth 1. They're processing reality at 10x speed. While you're talking, they're computing. This isn't about intelligence and bladum, it's about processing style. Jung discovered that introverted minds don't just think differently, they think more. Every interaction, every word, every micro-expression gets filed, analyzed, cross-referenced. You see a conversation. They see 17 layers of subtext, 3 hidden agendas, and exactly who's lying about what. This is why social situations exhaust them. Not because they're weak, but because they're running reality through a supercomputer while everyone else is using a calculator. 1 hour at your party processes like 10 hours of data. They leave not because they're antisocial, but because their mental hard drive is full. Marcus, a software engineer I know, described it perfectly. I can predict how every conversation at a party will go within 5 minutes of arriving. The same stories, the same dynamics, the same masks. Why stay for the reruns? This hyper-processing gives them an almost psychic ability to read situations. They know who's about to betray whom, which relationships are dying, whose success is built on sand. They see it all. And that's exactly why they often choose to see it from a distance. Truth 2. They've rejected your entire game. Here's what Jung understood that most don't. Quiet people haven't failed at the social game. They've recognized it's rigged and walked away from the table. They see your networking events as performance theater, your social media as advertisement for a life that doesn't exist, your small talk as linguistic junk food. And they've made a choice that terrifies the players. They've stopped playing entirely. This isn't social anxiety. It's social clarity. They've realized that 90% of social interaction is about validation seeking, status jockeying, and mutual deception. So they opt out, not from weakness, but from wisdom. They'd rather have 2 real conversations than 50 fake ones. Jung called this psychological sovereignty. The radical act of refusing to let society dictate your energy expenditure. When everyone else is bankrupting themselves for social capital, quiet people are building actual capital, knowledge, skills, inner wealth that can't be taken away. Truth 3. Their inner world is more real than your outer one. While you're building your image, they're building universes. Jung discovered that introverted types don't just have rich inner lives. They have inner civilizations, complete worlds with their own logic, beauty, and power structures. This is why they don't need your parties. They're not missing out. They're choosing between your wine and cheese and their intellectual feast, between your small talk and their grand dialogue with existence itself. Every quiet person is running multiple reality simulations in their head. They're having conversations with history's greatest minds, solving problems that haven't been identified yet, creating art that won't be understood for decades. Sarah, a writer who hasn't left her apartment in 6 days, isn't depressed. She's deep in what Jung called active imagination, a state where internal reality becomes so vivid that external reality feels like the dream. This isn't escapism. It's exploration of territories you don't even know exist. Truth 4. They're building power in silence. Real power doesn't announce itself. Jung knew this. While loud people are spending their energy on display, quiet people are accumulating it like compound interest. Every social interaction you have costs energy. Every performance, every mask, every fake laugh, it all withdraws from your psychological bank account. Quiet people, they're saving, investing, building reserves of mental and emotional capital that make them psychologically wealthy. This is why when quiet people finally speak, rooms go silent. When they act, it's decisive. When they commit, it's absolute. They haven't been absent. They've been charging up. Think about every major innovation, every profound book, every paradigm shift, created by people who disappeared for months or years, who chose depth over visibility, who built in silence and emerged with revolution. Truth 5. They see through everyone, including you. Jung discovered something unsettling about quiet observers. They develop what he called penetrating perception. When you're not busy talking, you start seeing, really seeing. Quiet people are reading micro-expressions you don't know you're making. They're noticing the gap between your words and your body language. They hear what you're not saying louder than what you are. This is why many people feel uncomfortable around them. You sense, correctly, that you're being seen, not judged, seen. Your masks become transparent. Your games become obvious. Your insecurities might as well be written on your forehead. They know who you are before you do. And they're storing that information not for manipulation but for navigation. They're mapping the human terrain, understanding the patterns, seeing the systems that run beneath surface-level interaction. Truth 6. They're living in the future. While you're responding to the present, they're already 3 moves ahead. Jung noted that introverted intuition, common in quiet types, operates like time travel. They see patterns and trajectories you won't notice for years. This is why quiet people often seem detached from current events, current trends, current anything. They're not behind. They're beyond. They've already processed where this is all going. And they're preparing for what's next while you're still reacting to what's now. That friend who stays home reading philosophy instead of going to brunch? They're not missing life. They're downloading the operating system for the next phase of human consciousness. They're having conversations with minds from centuries ago to prepare for centuries ahead. Truth 7. They control through absence. Here's the ultimate paradox Jung uncovered. The less available you are, the more powerful you become. Quiet people understand something that social butterflies don't. Absence is a force. When you're always available, always responding, always present, you become background noise. But when you're selective with your presence, every appearance becomes an event. Every word carries weight. Every yes means something. They're not playing hard to get. They are hard to get. Because their time, their energy, their presence has been elevated through scarcity. This isn't manipulation. It's economics. The rarer something is, the more valuable it becomes. Watch what happens when a quiet person leaves a job, a relationship, a social circle. The void they leave is bigger than the space loud people occupy. Because their absence makes you realize what was always there, a gravitational force that held things together through stillness, not motion. The hidden architecture of influence. Jung's greatest insight about quiet people wasn't about their psychology, it was about their sociology. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. They're not powerless, they're strategically powerful. While everyone else is exhausting themselves in the attention economy, quiet people are building in the intention economy. They're creating value that doesn't need to be advertised because it's undeniable. They're accumulating influence that doesn't need to be displayed because it's felt. The world is run by quiet people, not despite their quietness, but because of it. The CEO who spends more time thinking than talking. The investor who watches while others pitch. The artist who disappears for years then changes culture with a single work. They're not missing the party. They're preparing the revolution. The choice that changes everything. Here's what Jung wants you to understand. Being quiet isn't a limitation to overcome. It's a strategy most are too distracted to recognize. Every moment you spend in silence, you're building something. Every social event you skip, you're choosing something. Every time you go deep instead of wide, you're becoming something. The loud world wants you to believe that visibility equals value, that networking equals worth, that being seen equals being significant. But Jung knew better. He knew that the real game is being played in silence by people you'll never notice until they've already won. So the next time you see someone choosing solitude over society, choosing depth over display, choosing silence over noise, remember, they're not failing at your game. They're winning at theirs. And their game? It's the only one that actually matters. If these ideas stirred something deep within you, if you felt the pull toward a more authentic existence, you're not alone in this journey. Subscribe to School of Philosophe and ring the notification bell to join thousands of free thinkers exploring the deepest questions of human existence. Each day we dive into the minds of history's greatest philosophers. Your awakening mind deserves nothing less.